Good Friday after wherever you are time day, right? That's what we're doing today.
Yes, waiting for the weekend.
Waiting for the week. Well, it is almost the weekend where you are.
Yes, I just need to finish with you, and that's it.
You're vacating at that point, and well, you're not vacating, but whatever. Hi. By the way, if you've never been here before, my name is Darren. This is Victor over here. To my I guess you're to my right, although you're to my left. Which is worse, time travel or perspective? Doesn't matter. So anyway, we're the co-host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox, and on Fridays we do this live stream, and we call this DevOps Paradox Live because we are completely without a net. No editors, no beep buttons, no nothing. So anything can happen, and it usually does. So if you're here for the very first time, over in the chat, go ahead and type in new. I'd like to say hey to you. Also, and we're going to get pretty much right into questions today. If the questions are light, we've got some things that we can talk about. But why did my phone just go off? Oh, that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's more of the thing that we don't talk about that's happening. So actually, before we get to the one thing that I did want to talk about, Victor, you did release an update to the course. By the way, if you've not seen the course, you can go out to DevOpsToolkitSeries.com and look for the catalog course. It's at the top. In fact, I'll get it ready while you are talking about it.
Yeah, so I just released, I don't know since when actually. Actually released two parts.
That's true. You had two come out since last week.
Yes, yep. Exactly. So Google Cloud. So we are now into containers as a service as an attempt to discover a different flavor of serverless. Different flavor, I mean, not functions. So we are talking about Google Cloud Run released, Amazon ECS with Fargate released, and soon there will be Azure container instances. And it's going to be interesting because we did equivalent services for functions as a service a while ago. And the conclusion, basically, it's all the same stuff, no significant difference.
Right.
At least from my perspective.
Yeah.
Now, for containers as a service, there is a significant difference. There is kind of like amazingly huge difference. It is very easy to say this is horrible, this is acceptable, and this is awesome. I will reserve my statements, further statements, for until I finish the last part. But there are really huge differences.
Yep.
Such big that if you're into containers as a service, like if you're into functions as a service, just use whichever provider you have. But containers as a service might actually make you want to switch a provider.
That's a good teaser right there.
Yeah.
So if you haven't picked up the catalog, I'll go ahead and drop it back on the screen. Normally we don't like pitching things too early, but we figured since there were a couple of updates this week, let's go and talk about it. If you haven't picked it up, you can either get a video course or the book on LeanPub. Video courses on Udemy. You can just click the link here and it'll take you right over to where you need to be. Again, the link is up on the screen and it's also down in the show notes or the description of this video today. Also, the replays of these videos are being reposted on our cool 1998 looking website, which is fine. It's fine. What's interesting is the amount of SEO type things that are happening to it right now are very interesting as compared to our previous host. Now, partly that's me, because I actually have a little bit easier control and I see what I'm doing versus what I had with Squarespace. Again, nothing against Squarespace. It's a great platform. It sucked for me as an operator of it. So at least now we're doing everything through Git, Hugo, out to Netlify. It's a great thing. So where was I going with that?
Do you know?
Yeah, I do remember now. Yeah, so like right now we're recording this, or we're not even recording, we're live streaming this today. It's July 24th. Around noon Eastern, 6 p.m. CET. What does that stand for? Central European Time?
Central European time, yeah, CET. There is S between E and T, and I have no idea what it means.
Yeah.
It's
There is? Oh, standard probably, because you guys
Yeah.
follow daylight. Yeah. But anyway, so tomorrow morning, my time, YouTube does things. So I go in, I trim out the 10-minute thing, and I do some other things, just getting things ready. So it's usually reposted on our site for easy replay without the 10-minute lead. Sometime Saturday, my time, usually by lunchtime. Tomorrow may not happen because today's my mom's birthday. Yesterday was my birthday. Finally.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. I actually showed up a day early. I was supposed to be born on my mom's birthday, but I wasn't. I was going to wear a hat today, but I couldn't find a hat. Now, here is the news. We were talking about containers as a service. And with that in mind, let me share this. Where am I at? There I am. Okay. So we did get a very interesting tweet this week from David Kilman. He is one of the maintainers, one of the developers working on the Copilot CLI. And it's like, hey, we captured some of your feedback. I went, what? Somebody's listening to us? Somebody actually loves us? It's amazing. So, and this links off to this issue, which this ties back to what we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago. Of there might be times where you may want to consider switching providers.
Yep.
And this is one of those things that could drive you over the edge. Today, as of July 24th, 2020, right now, if you're using Copilot, it's going to build the image for you. You can't just give it an image. This issue that he opened on our behalf, thanks, Dave, makes it to where you could potentially at some point just provide an image. That's cool, right? That's very reasonable.
It's very cool. It's
Dave,
very cool.
Thanks, man. So go follow Dave. And I did want to show something. Actually, I didn't even pull this up. Let me pull it up real quick. I was looking at, now I haven't compared this against Azure. I have not compared this against Google. This is me because I spend 98% of my time in AWS with work. So I am a bit biased. I will not lie. Or try to extend it the other way. But one thing that I noticed was their projects. And they keep it out in the open for both the roadmap and their sprint. Notice the sprint was just updated 25 seconds ago. Now, I don't know what it was. But you can go through and see. Wow, that was fun.
That was distraction.
Okay, thank you. All their stuff, backlog, in progress, in review, and pending release. So, and I haven't dug through it a lot, but there were quite a few things in pending release that I went, this could be interesting. But I don't remember the details right now because that was earlier before I had, oh, by the way, we forgot. Oh, I forgot to get the drink. You have your drink?
I have no alcohol today. I'm desperate.
I got my Coke Zero back. I'm happy. Coke, if you ever want to sponsor us, that would be great. But anyway, I like the transparency that this project has. So why don't we talk about that for a moment? Not specifically about Copilot, but the transparency of projects.
Yeah, it's something that companies are still having a hard time wrapping their heads around.
Yeah.
Being transparent. And there is always that idea that if we are transparent, then actually our customers are going to figure out that we are doing something wrong. As if they are not figuring it without you being transparent. But kind of, they might not discover that we are doing something silly. It's very important. It's very important for the trust and everything. And I'm going to repeat the same thing that I've been repeating over and over again. GitLab gained my trust when they had that fiasco when they collapsed a couple of years ago, and then they made it fully transparent. They actually allowed everybody to feed in, to join their video feed where they were discussing and fixing and doing whatever needs to be done.
Yeah.
That's where they got my respect, to be honest. That was pretty awesome.
Now, we're not talking CI/CD right now. We're just talking GitLab as a company.
GitLab is a company, and we are talking about, in that case, it was about their Git repository.
About the Git repository.
Public Git repository.
Yeah. And it's just to be able to see, and I'm going to go ahead and drop this back up on the screen, to be able to see not only, because sometimes from a transparency perspective, some open source projects will show the roadmap, right? And that's interesting, but these guys are showing the sprint.
Yeah,
that to me is very interesting and very, very telling.
Yeah, to be honest, so if you're talking about open source projects, they're all showing the sprints or not having sprints in a documented way, right? It's not really that different from other projects. Now, what I might be, evil part of me might be saying that actually this is amazing because this is not something that we are normally seeing under AWS organization in GitHub.
Right.
That's what makes it special.
Yes.
Not in open source space. That's not special. Let me clarify.
Well, okay, fair enough. Yeah. But so what's interesting though, this is, and let's be real. If what's their code commit was open like GitHub is, this would not be on GitHub. It would be on whatever their code commit public version is. Yeah. Right. That would be. But I appreciate AWS. AWS is the new Oracle, right? There's always stuff that we love to bash about the larger companies. But if it wasn't for the larger companies, we wouldn't have a lot of the nice things that we have today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, AWS has a problem like almost every company before AWS had, and that is that they were the first in a game. They were the first truly successful player in that segment.
Right.
And many others came after it. And arguably, in quite a few aspects, they're better. But that's not because their engineers are better, but because when you start fresh based on experience of previous players, you're going to do things better, right? Yeah. That's the nature of the game.
It is.
The same way as I don't know, we can argue that Kubernetes did better than Mesos simply because it started from scratch and it had experience from Mesos.
Right.
I mean, not only Mesos, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So one last thing, and then we'll leave this and we'll get on to some other things. If you can find this, and I didn't put the link for this down. In fact, I'll put it in the chat right now for people that are here. Where are my chat? There it is. Come on. This is live TV, folks. Except it's not TV. It's a good thing, I guess. So
depends how you're watching.
Yeah, that's true. You can watch YouTube on a smart TV, that's for sure. So go click that link and upvote it. Give it a thumbs up, because we want this in. There's other things that are important, but to me, this is table stakes, right? And this leads us back to, which we're not going to divulge any big things yet, but being able to deploy an image to a container as a service platform, we believe is important. Right?
Yeah.
I don't mind them building it for me, but the problem is they're not building it for me. It's being built on my machine and then pushing the image up.
Yeah, because that then causes quite a few problems. We're talking about then potentially problematic how you're gonna tie that all together into different into potentially pipelines that are running in some cluster. How are you going to separate those things? Yep. Maybe I need to do something in between and quite a few other things. Yeah. Kind of, I'm looking for building blocks rather than non-changeable flow of stuff. Right.
So for me, like last night, I was sitting down to build, because I don't typically like installing a lot of command line tools directly on my machine. I try not to unless I don't have a choice. But I was trying to build a Docker image last night to take care of all the Copilot stuff, and it was late. So I had forgotten that there was a Docker requirement in order to use Copilot. Well, the last thing I wanted to do was Docker and Docker. Are you oh, your headphones went out? Oh, okay. All right. So
Almost.
here, almost. Okay, good. Or not good. But so then it's like, okay, I had to go back and I built a Vagrant box and got all the tooling installed, and no big deal because I'm trying to have a clean implementation. And in fact, I am going to mute him while that's going. I'll go ahead and go wide until he's back. So once I built that image and I realized, okay, well, I need Docker. Do I do Docker and Docker? I went, no, I don't want to do that. So I did a Vagrant image. And then once I got the Vagrant image up and running, everything worked great, no problem. But the only reason I had to do that was because of the Docker dependency. If I can just say, hey, here's my image, have a nice day, or there's some sort of file within the repository. It doesn't have to be whatever it is. And Victor, once you do get back, your camera's gone. There you are.
I'm back.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Oh, and you actually came back in automatically. So there we go. Okay, just a different camera this time. You're on your left-hand camera.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Boy, you're very shiny today.
Yeah, no, this camera is a bit... I had to unplug my camera to put the headphone in.
Oh, the headphone ends. Because you have a nicer laptop than I do. I still actually have a physical ear connection. So, so did you follow what I was saying, or did you lose me?
No, really. I mean, generally, I'm not following what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
so
in this specific case, I was physically prevented.
Yeah. So my only beef right now is that I have to have Docker. I'd forgotten that I needed Docker in order to run Copilot. Right, just because it was late and I wasn't thinking. So, if I can now provide an image in some way, shape, or form within my repository, obviously it won't be a Docker file. It'd be some sort of YAML or, okay, so we're using Netlify right now. And there's a Netlify TOML file that we define some things in order for things to happen on that. A TOML file, a YAML file, whatever, just some sort of reasonably structured file that I could pass into Copilot, that would be great.
Yeah.
Now, let's go ahead and take one step because you've already done Cloud Run. It's already been published. How does Cloud Run solve that problem? Or do they? How do they approach that? Because they're not baking an image for you, right?
No, they're not baking. I mean, so Cloud Run is not baking image for you. Cloud Build can be used to build image, run the tests. Basically, Google Cloud Build is acting as a CI/CD type of service, right? But Google Cloud Run is basically, here's my image, run it.
Yeah.
Right? There is basically almost nothing for you to do except now you can tweak it and say, okay, run it for let's say they have 1,000 concurrent requests per replica, right? Or this much memory CPU. So your basic, and this is the part that I love about it, is that it allows you to do nothing almost, say, this is my image run.
Yep.
But it allows you to go to other extreme as well and kind of specify all the details possible.
Right.
I mean, not all the details possible, but let's say all the details supported by Knative, because it is Knative behind the scenes.
Right.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, what else do we have here? No questions in just yet. It might be a quiet Friday for us. It might be a short day.
Yeah. I haven't experienced anything special this week.
Well, I think we were getting the show notes together throughout the week and, looking for interesting items. And there were a couple of things that were, this is okay, but not really earth shattering, because there's lots of earth shattering. I think just everybody's on holiday right now.
And that makes me depressed.
We're still here for you, people. Come on.
The problem is not that I'm here for you, people. The problem is that I'm here for others. Those who pay my bills. That's the problem.
Oh, my goodness. I was trying to so the Alexa conference was this week. I haven't watched the videos on those. I'm going to try to do that this weekend. It's just, fortunately a quiet week. And maybe that's okay.
That's okay. That means that people are enjoying some other stuff that is not necessarily work, which is cool.
What's that like?
I don't know, but I hope that somebody can tell me. The last time I experienced that was maybe 4 years ago when we went to Africa, and it happened that in our resort there was no internet. And
How did you survive?
First day it was very complicated, but the rest of the time it was actually pretty pleasurable.
It's like
Once
by
you
the
give
time-
up.
Yeah, once you didn't have it any longer, it's like, or you were getting back into civilization. It's like, what is this internet that you speak of?
Yeah, I can order margarita and get it without watching my email. That was amazing. That was never seen before. I mean, margarita parties is seen quite often in my case, but not watching my email, not responding
Yeah.
to emails, that's new.
So, you know what? If we don't have any other questions, do you want to just wrap it, or is there anything
Yeah, we
else that
can.
you want to talk about? Because
No, nothing really special. Kind of, I'm really focused now on two things.
Two
On
things.
finishing Azure Container Instances, three things. Wrapping it all up, the most interesting part will be this is horrible, this is bad at the end of those three. And if Copilot guys are fast enough, I would include that back. I would retrace my step and put it back to ECS. Because here's a message for Copilot guys. If you don't allow me to deploy without building, I cannot include it because that's out of the scope. And if I don't do it, ECS might not get a very shiny results. It's not good.
Dave, you're listening, aren't you, Dave?
It's not good.
At least as of the moment, right? That's the key. It is new. Let's give it a fair. It is new, or it's based on old stuff, right?
No, I mean ECS is not new.
No, but the ECS CLI that Copilot is now transformed into, the Copilot part of it is new. So
that's my thing, kind of Copilot in a way. So the problem with ECS is not what it does. Actually, what it does is decently good. It's actually more than decently good. It's pretty good.
It's very good. Yeah.
The problem is that it really works only for sysadmins.
Yes.
The amount of things you need to do to make it work is just unbearably too much.
Yeah.
For a normal person, for a person who does not dedicate life to AWS infrastructure. Copilot makes it much closer to what user experience on Azure instances and Google Cloud Run does. It's pretty awesome project.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, again, it's just 0.2 right now, so we have to be nice.
No, so
we don't have to, but
no. I'm actually pretty impressed with Copilot. I think it's pretty cool, nifty tool that ties together things that are complicated without it. So I'm not necessarily nice to ECS, but very nice to Copilot.
Yeah, and in fact, Dave, I will be opening up an issue because I tripped over something. So now it's because I was doing something very bad, but it was something that was legal to do. So I will open up an issue on that once I reduplicate it, because what I wanted to do is to be able to get through their hello world. So that's what I finished up this morning when I woke up at 5:30. I roll right out of bed and start working on Copilot projects. Isn't that fun?
That's dedication, man.
And then I go for a walk, and then I come back. It's like, what did I do this morning? And I type history. Oh yeah, that's what I did. I work all sorts of strange hours. Okay, so if we don't have any other questions today, that's cool. Let's go ahead and talk about the survey for people that are watching the replay. And just in case, or if you're still here with us, that's great. But the survey, if you have questions about other things you want us to cover in the catalog, go to the survey page, fill it out. That will help inform us how the catalog course continues after serverless. Now, I did mess up this week. So this week's podcast episode was with Roderick from Nimbella, right? And last week I was saying, oh man, we forgot about, we're talking about Azure versus Google versus AWS. That's actually next week's. So that's next week's episode. Roderick's episode with Nimbella was really good, he's from Nimbella. So go take a listen to that if you haven't listened. Also, if you are not part of our Slack community, you can go join up in our Slack
That could be a better
workspace.
name.
Slap.
Let me slap you a message.
Is Slap.io a thing? Let's see.
Everything that has less than 10 letters is reserved.
Yeah, and it's squatting on, so it's too bad because that would have been a good one. Anyway, go join up at the Slack workspace. The link is down below. It's also right down below here. And again, if you don't listen to our podcast, why not? You get more of this, except edited, usually a little bit. Victor is trying to get me. Okay, people. So
you want to make it public?
Yeah, I'll make it public. I don't care.
Okay.
It doesn't bother me. Hey, look, I've been doing this for how long? Look, I've lost pretty much all my filter now. So Victor is trying to get me to do the podcast completely live, and I still want to edit it after the fact, but we want to turn it to video. So it's going to be primarily video with audio. My problem is I come from a radio background. I come from a high quality audio type scenario. And I take pride in how most of the time good our audio quality. Now the content, that's a different conversation, right? But the quality is usually really good. And I've got to figure out a way to be able to separate that out from a video feed and still get the quality that I want from a audio perspective. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to go out to send either a tweet to, just send a tweet to @DevOpsParadox.com. That's our sort of our channel one. Just sort of like what you see up on the screen right now. Just go to @DevOpsParadox.com on Twitter and say, go ahead and say, hey, look, yeah, you guys should do everything on video. Because if we do video, then you could watch us record it live. And of course, we would still edit it and it would get released. And then the video would get released on the real day. But if you wanted to watch it live behind the scenes, then you could watch it live behind the scenes. You could interact with us and maybe, help influence. Let's call it that. Help influence the direction of the conversation that day. Okay.
He'll give up sooner or later.
Man, I'm an audio snob. That's what it all boils down to. I'm just an audio snob. But okay. I think that's a good enough place to go ahead and wrap it up for today. Victor, have a great weekend. Everybody else that's watching, if you're watching this later this weekend or sometime next week, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. And join us probably, let's see, what's next weekend? Next Friday is July 31st. Yep. So we should be here you're back. Yeah, you're back.
I'll be back.
Okay. So yeah, we should be back next Friday as well. Just watch for an announcement on Twitter and on LinkedIn. Usually it comes out on Thursday for what time it will be on Friday. Thanks everybody. Have a great weekend and we'll talk to you later. Now I have to find the cool button to push. That is right now.